Hello, I am TOEFL Guy. Do you remember me? This is the second episode of the General Block. In the previous episode, we saw some tools to use in our preparation for the proficiency exam and to develop our English in general. And we said that we were going to see a demonstration of how to make a schematic summary in the next block, because this is very important to have the best score in the exam. The next block is already this one. So let's go.
Listen up, because this is important. Now we are going to talk about two things that we need very much to get the best result in the exam. Reading speed and knowing how to take notes. Reading speed is like this. You've got to read fast. And it's very important, because we won't need to read just for the reading test. On the oral test and on the written test you'll have to read too. But it's on the reading test that you need to read faster. There are many strategies you can use to increase your reading speed, and we will look at some of them here in the course. For now, just know that we have to pay attention to these reading speed thing, maybe even research speed reading a bit and try out the techniques you find. And there is also the thing about taking notes, which counts a lot to get the best result in the exam. Believe me, it really counts. We need to write down the important information that we read and hear as quickly as possible and in the most organized way we can. It is like making a sketch. They call this schematic summary. You will have to do this on the listening, speaking and writing tests and, depending on the strategies you use, on the reading test as well. On the listening, speaking and writing tests, we will be given spoken and written information that we will need in order to answer the questions later. You don't have time to read the texts more than once and you can only listen to the recordings once. So you have to take notes of the information so you don't forget. This is so important that we will see about these schematic summaries right now, to start training right away. But how do I take these notes? How do I know what is important to write down and what is not? It is actually very simple. There is no secret. Think about it. We will get to know the types of text. Both written text and spoken text, which appear on the exam. And we will also learn the types of questions that are used in each part of the test, so we will know exactly what needs to be written down, because it's always the same pattern, it is just the content that changes. Let's take a look at how to make this summary. But remember, each person has their own way of doing this. But there are some points that are common. That's how it is. In general. Rule 1, don't write a lot. It is no use trying to write down everything you read or hear, as little writing as possible. Just use key words. You don't need to write complete sentences. Rule 2, shorten what you write. You can even practice shorthand, using a mixture of symbols and abbreviated words, like writing code. The important thing is that you understand what you wrote. Let's see how it works. Here's an example. Check it out. How about we get straight into the exam mood? You will listen to part of a lesson on French history, take notes to produce a schematic summary. There may be a question afterwards, or not.
Today, we are going to talk about the French Revolution. More precisely, the causes and consequences of it. What is so important about a revolution which happened in the 18th century France? It is very simple. The French Revolution was the first in a series of revolutions around the world centered on human rights. It helped spread many of the ideas which led to fundamental change in the whole world. Today, these ideas are considered fundamental principles of liberal democracy. There is irrefutable evidence of the spread of the French Revolution. Phrases such as its maxim, liberty, equality, fraternity, were heard again and again in other revolts. The 1917 Russian Revolution is an example. These ideas inspired campaigns for the abolition of slavery and universal suffrage. The values and institutions it created dominate French politics to this day. Many historians generally agree that the causes of the French Revolution are a combination of social, political, and economic factors. Such factors got out of control, leading to widespread social distress. The unrest that ensued culminated in the storming of the Bastille on the 14th of July, which in turn led to a series of radical changes. The abolition of feudalism, the imposition of state control over the Catholic Church in France, and extension of the right to vote are all direct consequences of the revolution.
Hey, want to know what the notes look like? Here's an example. Check it out. You can see that it's just bits and pieces, mainly abbreviations and symbols. Maybe it makes no sense to anybody else, but when I look at these notes, I can remember important information about the lecture. Let me show you. French Revolution, causes and consequences. First of many revolts centered on human rights, spread ideas leading to fundamental change. Liberal democracy principles maxim, used in other revolts such as Russia, inspired campaigns to abolish slavery and universal suffering. Ideas dominate French politics to this day, caused by a combination of socio-economic and political factors that fell out of control, leading to civil unrest and the fall of the Bastille. Consequences are the end of feudalism, control of the Catholic Church by the French state, and the extension of voting rights. Can you see that all the information is there? That's all you have to do in the exam. You take down the main ideas and build this schematic summary. Know what I mean? Check it out. Cool, isn't it? That's what I thought.
So, did you get that stuff about the reading speed and the idea of the schematic summary? When we practice doing mock exams, that's when we truly realize how important it is to make these summaries. We need to practice a lot so we can nail it when we take the exam for real. Haven't got the book yet? Get it on Amazon. Check out the link in the description. Don't miss the next episode. We will talk about how to improve your pronunciation. Subscribe to the channel and watch this space.